YouTube. How we doing, family? It's your boy Yo, and this is another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Sunday, February 2nd, and we have a 5-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like, and stick around because I'll let you know my highlighted play of the day. I do this every day for free, so make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite games in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we cashed on our highlighted play of the day. We took the Utah Jazz plus 6 points and split on the money line at plus 170 against the Orlando Magic. I thought it was a good spot for the Jazz. Their team's coming back healthy and they aired them out in Utah. That was a nice way to cash for plus money to start our month. Overall, we went 6-3 on the entire card, but we also cashed that Wizards money line. I let you guys know that I would be personally betting on that. $50 paid $375 profit. You'd have to win 8 games in a row at even money, betting $50 on every game to get that same payout. I've given out the Wizards 3 times, told you guys to bet them 3 times on the money line in the new year, and they won 2 of those. They've only won 2 games all year. So stay with me, guys. We're going to keep cashing. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls in Detroit taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are laying 5 points, and the total is 233.5. The Pistons haven't been playing their best ball recently. They're currently on a 4-game losing streak, and they got aired out in all 4. As home favorites, Detroit is now 2-6 against the spread. So you've been losing money betting on them in this spot. The Bulls did win their last game dominantly in Toronto against the Toronto Raptors, but here they do fly to Detroit. As road underdogs, the Bulls are now 9-10 against the spread, so about 50-50. They are without Zach LaVine here. For me, this game comes down to how inconsistent the Bulls have been this season. When I look in 2025, the Bulls have only won 2 games in a row, once all in the new year. So basically every time the Bulls get a dominant win, they follow it right up with a blowout loss. The Pistons are 6-3 straight up at home in the new year, so they've proved they can win games at home even though they haven't been covering extended numbers. The 5 points is slightly extended, but I do think they get the job done here. We're taking the Pistons laying the 5 points as our first selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Dallas Mavericks in Cleveland taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs are laying 12.5 points, and the total is 236.5. Luka on the Lakers? Last night, the Mavs made one of the most blockbuster trades I've ever seen in my life. Mavericks sent Luka, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers in return for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. That is monumental. Both Luka and Anthony Davis have been plagued with injury all season, so I am curious to see how it shapes out for either team, but that absolutely blew my mind. Luka and Maxi Kleber have both been out, so that doesn't play a bearing on this game at all. Looking at the injury reports for this one, the Cavs will be without Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Karis LeVert. On the Mavericks side, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, and Kyrie Irving are questionable, and then Derek Lively and Dwight Powell are out for this game. The Mavs have barely any players going tonight. I want to see if Kyrie and Gafford play in this one, but if they do, I see this as a motivation spot for the Mavs. Show the league, hey, we're not going to miss Luka too much. They've hooped without him all season, so this is basically business as usual for them. The Cavs have been exceptional as home favorites, so I'm not in a rush to fade them. Like I said, I do want to see if Kyrie and Gafford play, but we're taking the Mavericks plus the 12.5 points as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the LA Clippers in Toronto taking on the Toronto Raptors. Clippers are laying 5.5 points, and the total is 219.5. Raptors are finally getting fully healthy. So looking at the injury reports here, Davion Mitchell and Jamal Sheed are both questionable, but the Raptors will have Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick. Basically all of the key pieces for the Raptors are going in this game. When I look at the Clippers side, Chris Dunn and Norman Powell will not play. Norm not playing for the Clippers is huge. In my opinion, he's their best offensive piece. Kawhi is back in Toronto here where he first got them the chip, so this is a motivation spot for him. But with how well the Raptors have played at home and without Norman Powell in this game, I have to give them another chance to do what they do at home in Toronto. They're now 15, 5, and 1 against the spread as home underdogs. You've been cashing like no other with Toronto in this spot. I think they have a chance to win the game outright, but I want the 5 points in my back pocket. We're taking the Raptors plus 5.5 points as our highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Boston Celtics in Philadelphia taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Celtics are laying 11 points and the total is 233. The injury reports for this game are night and day, so the Celtics come into this one fully healthy, and on the Sixers side, of course, they're without Joel Embiid, Paul George, and KJ Martin, and then Andre Drummond and Caleb Martin are questionable. The Sixers have been hooping recently. They've won 4 of their last 5 games, and they've covered in 5 straight. That probably ends here, though. The Sixers were catching teams and the books off guard. We stopped expecting them to do anything, and I mean, come on. They're still an NBA team at the end of the day. Here, I don't think the Celtics sleep on them. If Boston plays even at 70% of what they're capable of, I think they win this game by 15 plus. I won't overcomplicate it. We're taking the Celtics laying the 11 points as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Memphis Grizzlies in Milwaukee taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks are laying 3 points and the total is 246. This is going to be a real fun game to watch. I'll be tuning in. Both of the injury reports are extremely concerning, though, depending on how they shape out. So Ja Morant is doubtful for the Grizzlies. He likely will not go. And then on the Bucks side, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Damian Lillard, and Gary Trent are all probable. Bobby Portis will not play. Like I said, this injury report is super tricky for me because everyone being probable on the Bucks, they could rule out half the team right before game time. The line only being a 3-point spread with no Ja tells me that something is likely going to be announced for the Bucks, somebody being ruled out too. It's hard for me to lock in on a side with all the uncertainty surrounding this game, but I do think it's going to be a competitive match, and in a competitive game, you guys know, I want the plus money or the points in my back pocket. So we're taking the Grizzlies plus the 3 points as our last and final selection of today. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We had a hot start to February. We're up units already. Let's keep it rolling. I do this every day for free, so make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo. And until the next one, I'ma catch y'all. Peace.